My name is Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and I try to go live here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. I am the Mary at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, so if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me. If I don't answer them during the live chat, maybe I missed your comment, you can always send me an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. So, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. For those of you just joining me for the first time, welcome. For those of you that join me regularly, welcome back. So the topic today is cucumbers, specifically heirloom cucumbers, because of course, Mary's Heirloom Seeds. We have a lot of great information to share with you today. I'm going to talk about ways to use your cucumbers, a couple fun facts about cucumbers, growing cucumbers, as well as seed saving for cucumbers. So we've got a lot of great information to share with you. Now, in the description section of this video, you will find links to my comprehensive planting guide. Awesome information. Hey, Caitlin, you're super local to me. You'll also find a link to Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and of course, our heirloom cucumber seed collection, as well as a link to our email sign up. If you're not already receiving my emails, hey, David, please sign up. It's amazing. There's a lot of great information we share with you. Krista says, great topic. It's the only seeds that are still moving along. So this was my harvest here just from this morning from one raised bed. I have, so part of the reason I have these massive cucumbers here is because our 2024 garden challenges is grow the longest cucumber. And so I have Suyo Long and I have Armenian cucumber in my extra large cucumber raised bed. And this is literally like 4 plants. Well, no, I take it back. 4 and 4 plants, so 8 plants total. It's a pretty great harvest. And there's so many more on the plants. I just only harvested a couple because they're huge. And of course, I'm trying to stay hydrated. My mostly feral gardener's cup, because I am definitely a mostly feral gardener, and sometimes I'm a totally feral gardener. So let's talk about cucumbers. A couple of fun facts about cucumbers. A raw cucumber is actually 95% water. So as far as staying hydrated, as I just mentioned, it's a fantastic option for you to add to your plate, especially in summertime when you're out in the garden and it's really hot. I'm inside right now for a couple of reasons. One, because I've got some great cucumbers. I'm going to share with you how we cut them open, and I don't want to do that outside. And it was also feels like temperature of 115 degrees, and I don't really want to sweat through everything I have on while I'm doing a live chat. Hey, Denise Porter, thanks for joining us. Cucumbers can actually cool the body. So I just mentioned it's 115 feels like outside. Cucumbers can actually cool the body and the blood, which is how we have the phrase cool as a cucumber. David says you love cucumber salad with some red onions. I'm going to share with you a couple of awesome ways to use cucumber as well. I have a tomato and cucumber salad already on my website. I've got a couple of cucumber information, some links that I might share at a later time, and some recipes that I will be sharing on my website that I've used but just have never shared with you. The cooling of cucumbers can actually soothe a sunburn. So if you've got a sunburn, you can actually make a paste out of it. You can literally put it in a blender like I've got back there and smooth it over your skin, or you can just slice it up and put it on your skin. That's why, like at the spas or whatever, they have cucumber water, and then they also use the cucumbers to lessen the reddening on your body or even calm any kind of inflammation. Harvesting cucumbers regularly will help your plant to produce more. Hey, Natasha, thanks for joining us. So it's really important to continue to harvest your cucumbers so that the plant itself continues to produce. Now, how are we consuming our cucumbers? There's a lot of great ways that you can actually use cucumbers that don't involve chopping it and putting it on top of your salad, because you may love salads, but maybe it's summertime and it's 115 degrees outside and your garden isn't necessarily producing lettuce. So how are we going to use our cucumbers if we don't necessarily have lettuce from our garden? Now, you can flavor your water with it. You can actually make an infused water, and it's simply taking a jug or I was going to say a can. What I mean is a glass jar, You can put some cucumber slices in there, top it with some water, and put it in the refrigerator. And if you've ever been to a spa, I'm not a big spa person, but I did go to a spa once for a massage, and they served me cucumber infused water, and it's so much more refreshing than lemon infused water, so I love that. You can cook it or you can eat it raw. So my favorite curry dish at a Thai restaurant, we don't go out to eat often, but on the very rare occasion we do, I go for the yellow curry dish they have there, and it's the one that doesn't have potatoes in it. It's got more vegetables, and it has sliced like lengthwise cucumber, and it is amazing. You can actually roast your cucumbers just like you would zucchini and eat it by itself, top it on a salad, or use it as a side dish. Of course, you can add it to your Greek salad, which is absolutely delicious, with some feta and some black olives. It's fantastic. And I will be making pickles tomorrow. I will be making refrigerator pickles tomorrow, and I'll probably be canning pickles later on. Again, it's really hot, so I'm trying to limit my exposure to heat already, because I'm already outside for a couple hours a day roasting myself. So the difference between canning pickles and refrigerator pickles is when you refrigerate your pickled cucumbers, which is a pickle. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. It's not shelf stable. So generally you're going to use the same brine that you would to make pickles, but you're going to put your lids on and you're going to put it in the refrigerator. You do not leave these out. Now you can also water bath can pickles, cucumbers. A pickled cucumber is a pickle. So you can also water bath can it as well. I will be refrigerator pickling some of these tomorrow. Now, one of my customers also mentioned that they slice it into sticks, kind of like carrot sticks, and they dip it in ranch dressing. Now, I'm not a huge fan of ranch dressing. Sorry, it's just not my favorite. But I make an apple cider vinegar based like Italian that I love. But Doc loves ranch dressing. So I started doing that for him, and he loves it. It's a great way to consume more healthy vegetables by adding a little bit of something that is fun. What he says is everything tastes better with sauce. So of course that's what we do. Now another way to use it is you can slice them in rounds, and then you can top them with hummus or your favorite dip. Hummus is a pretty easy one, and it's simple to make or buy. And it's really easy to just top your cucumber rounds, super easy, right? You could also make them in dips and soups. There is a really delicious, cool, it's like a refrigerated summer soup where it is a cooled cucumber soup. I'll try and share the recipe with you at a later time. If you check out my community section here on YouTube for Mary's Heirloom Seeds, I'll share some more recipes at a later time. You can follow me on Facebook, and I'll do that as well. In the description section of this video, you will also find some of my social media options like Facebook and Instagram, and I share a lot of great images, tips, fun stuff, weird and fun, mostly feral stuff. So definitely check it out and follow me there as well. We also have a seed sale this August. I believe it ends on the 14th, so it's almost done. I believe it's August 14th, 2024 at midnight it ends. Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So we already talked about a couple fun facts about cucumber. We also talked about ways to use cucumber. I'm going to share with you a couple of cucumbers that I already have here, and just to give you an idea of what we're using and what we're growing. This is super fun. All three of these are called Puna Kira cucumbers. So I have official taste testers, and by official I mean a friend of mine who lives a couple minutes away from me. She's got kids and they love cucumbers. So they love most of the vegetables that I've given them. So she does grow her own garden, but I'm always trying weird stuff in the garden. And I always say, hey, would your kids mind trying this? So I call them my official taste testers. Now this is a very immature Puna Kira cucumber. It looks very similar to a white Wonder cucumber. Okay, my White Wonder's a little more round, a little more fat. But this is the early stage of a Puna Kira cucumber. These originated in, I wrote it down so I would remember, Pune, India. So they thrive in hot weather. And I will tell you this right now, they are thriving in East Texas. Now this is the second one I harvested that is a little more mature than the first one. So Esther's daughter, if you want to learn about some heat tolerant cucumber varieties, definitely keep watching. Tonight I'm going to share with you the amazingly heat tolerant cucumbers that we have been growing. I already mentioned it's 115 outside and these are still thriving. In fact, they kicked back up into full steam, so it's awesome. Now, like I mentioned, this is the second one. This is a little more mature, and now this one looks as it's described like a russet potato. So this is a fully mature Puna Kira cucumber. Now, from what I was told by the official taste testers, this is the best one. It's nice and tender, the skin is good, the seeds are small, and it was great. Now this one, the skin is a little tougher, the seeds are a little bigger, but it was still really good. Now, this one, the skin was too tough and the seeds were too big, but the flesh of the cucumber was still good. So, now you know, and if you're gonna be harvesting seeds, you're gonna wanna wait till it looks like this to harvest your seeds, okay? Now, we're gonna talk about growing seeds. Krista says, do they taste the same flavor as a cucumber? The Puna Kira, yes. I have some other ones that I'm going to share a little bit of differences that I notice when I eat them because I am my own taste tester and I'll give you some information about that. Now, growing cucumbers from seed to harvest. Vining cucumbers take up less space than a bush cucumber. So, make sure you have a sturdy trellis. Very, very important. If you are growing a vining cucumber that's going to grow 18 inches long, 24 inches long, you are going to need a very good trellis. Hey, Missy, thanks for joining us. Let me show you something. I harvested this massive Armenian cucumber for seeds. This can actually grow even longer than this. This is actually still edible. The skin is going to be a little tougher. The seeds inside are going to be viable, but the actual fruit itself, the flesh of this is still going to be edible. And yes, Esther's daughter, wow, is right. So part of our 2024 garden challenges is grow the longest cucumber. So we're going to show you my arm. And it's to my armpit. Now, I'm a shorter person, so I'm 5'3", so I don't have big hands and I don't have long arms. So it you know, if you were 6 feet tall, it may not be. But this thing is massive, and it is grown on the same trellis that I grow these smaller ones here. So I'm gonna put this back. So there is a reason that I'm sharing this information with you, because if you're gonna be growing cucumbers like this, you definitely want a trellis. You want something sturdy, something that's going to be good and going to hold up. Missy says, does it taste like the traditional cucumber? Now, let me tell you a fun fact about Armenian cucumbers. They are, botanically speaking, a melon, not a cucumber, which is kind of fun. So the Armenian cucumber is in the same family as like the cantaloupe and the honeydew melon, but it is used like a cucumber because it tastes more like a cucumber at that size. Some people have said, oh, well, it does taste like a melon. Now, I don't notice the difference, but I will tell you this. At that size, the skin's a little tough, but what about this one? The skin isn't going to be tough on this one, and the seeds inside are going to be small. Now, the one thing I love about Armenian cucumbers is the cavity of the seeds is very small. So it's in a much you get much more cucumber instead of all a bunch of seeds, right? So if you're going to be growing them, you want a good trellis, right? Now, plant your seeds 1 inch deep, and if you're using the square foot garden method, use 2 per square, maybe 3 if you want to squeeze it in, or generally if you're growing in ground or in hills, it's 6 to 8 inches apart. Seeds can germinate in 4 to 10 days, and harvest time is about 50 to 70 days, so super easy. The awesome thing about this is if you still have warm weather in your area, and if you have a long-ish growing season and your frost date is a ways off, you still have time to plant cucumber seeds. Plenty of time for that matter. I mean, literally 50 to 70 days. So super awesome. Krista says, are they grow bag friendly? And I would say yes, as long as you have a trellis. If there's a way that you can get a good sturdy trellis, then absolutely. Otherwise, it'll be iffy, because if they grow on the ground, which is possible, they're more susceptible to diseases. Now, I grow mine in raised beds, and let me show you. I've got something called a Suyo long cucumber, and I'm going to share with you the difference between the one that was growing on top of the trellis versus the one that grew on the ground. Now, I've got, this is a Suyo long. Oh yes, direct sow, absolutely. So that's another great point about cucumbers. They don't do very well when they are transplanted, and there's really 0 point in buying starts at a garden center. Hey Deborah, thank you very much. And Denise, how long will a vine continue to produce? For a long time. So the Suyo long and the Armenian cucumber, my seeds were planted in early March, and they're still producing. So I've given them plenty of water, but not too much water, so you don't want them waterlogged. I've given them a good amount of nutrients, and they are, some of them are in full sun and some of them are partial shade in the afternoon. So it really just depends on your situation. So somebody asked about grow bags, and absolutely they will grow. And I will show you what I was just about to show you. This is a Suyo long cucumber. These are super heat tolerant. We are just coming out of a tropical storm. How long would you wait before you planted? So Jenny, I know that you're in Florida and it's hurricane season. So plant now. There's a chance you're going to get another hurricane. There's a chance you won't. So I would go ahead and replant now. I always take risks in the garden. So you're better off risking planting now and having a harvest than not planting at all and then not getting a harvest. So back to trellising. So we talked about grow bags, and this is what was grown on a trellis. So it was hanging from a vine here. This one was growing on the ground. It was at the bottom of the vine, and so it hit the soil and started spinning. This is the same cucumber. So it's a great idea to give them room to trellis. And you can see how small this one is to how this one is. This one was able to thrive because it had a good amount of space on a trellis. Okay? So one great reason to trellis your cucumbers, right? So avoid irregular watering schedules. And I know if it's pouring rain one day or 5 days and then it stops raining, there's almost nothing you can do about it. But if you have an irregular water schedule with cucumbers, you're going to have this like regular sized cucumber here and then a little short, like stunted portion of it because it didn't get enough water. I mentioned earlier in the video, a raw cucumber is 95% water. So that's a big reason why they are not thriving, is they're not getting enough water or irregular water schedule. They need nutrients. So side dress it with compost. Use compost tea that we carry at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. Add mountain flower root boost to your garden before you get started. Use worm tea. The ladies at KNC Worm Farm are awesome. They've got worm tea and they've got worm castings. So I'm going to tell you about some of these cucumbers. I already told you about the Armenian cucumber. Let's see. Krista says, since we're both in Texas, do you water in the morning or the evening? My mom just asked me about that. She said, what's the best time to water? And I said, Mom, I water whenever I can. So generally speaking, at 8 o'clock at night, it's about dark here, and I'm tired because I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't water at night. And I'm sure, I don't know what the scientific best time to water is, but I water very early in the morning. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5 o'clock if I slept in a little bit. I have my coffee, I work out, and then I go out into the garden as soon as the sun has risen. I don't like going out in the garden in the dark because there's a lot going on out there that I don't necessarily want to meet in the dark. So I go out there about 6:15, 6:30, and I water until everything is done, and then I come in, change, and run out to work. So I water when I can. If watering at night is the best for you, then water at night. My suggestion to you, though, is never water during the day, during the heat of the day, because those water droplets can act like a magnifying glass and burn the holy heck out of your plants. So definitely do either very, very early morning or late at night. Maybe you're not an early morning riser. In that case, maybe you want to add a drip irrigation system so that your garden is being watered while you can sleep in. Totally up to you. I'm an early riser. I've always been an early riser. I'm not a morning person, but I'm an early riser. So Armenian cucumbers, they grow, even though they can grow a couple feet long, they are best harvested when they are 12 to 18 inches long. So once they get too large, like this bad boy over here, they're going to be a little tougher. The seeds are going to be a little bigger, but you can always scoop out those seeds and eat the flesh anyway. Punakira is originally from Pune, India. I showed you those earlier, and I'll show them to you again since I'm talking about them. This is early, middle, and late harvested. They are one of the more interesting cucumbers that I've ever grown. The feedback was pretty good. The fully matured brown skin was too tough. So I'm definitely going to I harvested that, and I'm going to save seeds from it. The Suyo Long cucumber, I mentioned again, all three of these are the most heat tolerant varieties of cucumbers that we offer at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. It's definitely a favorite for me. The Suyo Long is significantly sweeter than any other cucumber that I've grown. The Armenian has the smaller of the seeds, but the Suyo Long is probably my absolute favorite. I've had some people look at the Mexican sour gherkin, and to me, it's cute and it's fun and it's a novelty and it pops in your mouth, but it's not really something that I want to grow. And my mom asked me, she's like, well, how many cucumbers do you have? Well, at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, in our cucumber collection, you have 29. Now, again, technically, the Armenian cucumber is part of the melon family, but still it's listed under cucumbers because we call it the Armenian cucumber. The Suyo Long grows about 18 inches, and it's considered a burpless, and it's the sweetest. So those are some differences that you've seen. Esther's daughter, yes ma'am. There is something called a bush crop cucumber. I grew that this year. It didn't produce as well as these here because it's a bush and it was kind of more on the ground, and I kind of let it be, and I didn't really give it the attention that maybe it should have had. So you can try it. My problem is it sprawls. It's not necessarily, you know how you have the difference between a determinate tomato and an indeterminate tomato? And an indeterminate is called vining and it goes everywhere, and a determinate stays in a bush. Well, my bush crop cucumber kind of just sprawled a little bit. So it's still going to take up a little more space, which is why I like the vining cucumbers. Now, we're going to talk about harvesting seeds here. I didn't really get prepared for this. I don't really have a knife and all that good stuff to do this, but I will show you this. This is a regular small cucumber, but this was forgotten on the vine, and so it is over mature. Now at this point, it is ready to harvest seeds. When you are growing to eat versus to save seeds, it's what we call market harvest ready versus seed saving harvest ready. Okay, so there's a difference. I'm going to eat these. I'm going to save seeds from these. Now, this one is a really small one, and I already showed you the second one. That's my Armenian cucumber there. These are perfect for seed saving. Once you harvest your seeds, you're gonna do is I'm not gonna cut it because I don't have a cutting board and I don't want to slice my hands off, right? So you're gonna very gently cut around the outside so that you don't slice the inside. The inside here, where the jelly part is, that's where your seeds are. And you don't really want to slice up the seeds. So you're gonna take the seeds and you're gonna scoop them out and you're gonna rinse them off very well. You want to take all of the debris, all of the inside of that cucumber that's not a seed, you want to remove. If you don't remove the inside, it will stay on the seed and it can mold, rot, and destroy your entire seed collection. So once you're done harvesting your seeds, what I use is a small, I call it a sifter, but I'm sure there's a culinary, term for it. So I rub it on there so that I make sure that there's no debris. Then I lay it out, not on a paper towel. Now, why don't I use a paper towel? Because that would be easy, right? Because sometimes those seeds will stick to that paper towel and you don't really want to store your wet paper towel. So it's easiest if you use a screen, some sort of screen material that the seeds will come off very easily. You want to make sure the seeds are very, very dry. Don't put them in the oven, just let them air dry. Don't leave them in the sun, don't leave them where it's hot, just let them air dry. Once they're completely dry, you can remove them and add them to a glass jar, seed envelopes, or some sort of sealed container. I love using reusable stuff. So like if you've got a glass jar that was a spaghetti sauce jar, you take that, you pop your seeds in there, and then you label off what it is. When you save your seeds, you want to make sure that you label the date that you save them and the type of seeds that they are. Because the last thing you want to do is come next year, harvest season or planting season, and you're like, what is in this jar and what seeds are these that I saved? I can't tell you how many of my customers go, Mary, I saved these seeds. Can you maybe identify them for me? Now, the cucumber seeds all mostly look the same, except for maybe the Mexican sour gherkin, because they're the teeniest tiny seeds that of a cucumber you've ever seen. But melon seeds, sometimes like a honeydew melon seeds, looks very similar. So you want to make sure that you properly label them. Denise says, how long after you dry the seeds can you plant them? Do I need to wait a whole year? No, ma'am. You can actually harvest the seeds and plant them immediately if you want to plant them now. If you want to store them, you have to make sure they're properly dried. But if you want to replant your cucumber seeds, for example, harvest them, rinse them off. You don't want debris because you don't want it to rot in the soil and then rot your seeds. So rinse them off very well and pop those babies in the soil and you're ready to go for another year. So that has been my discussion for cucumbers tonight. I wanted to share so much awesome information because for those of you that are in my area or in a similar area where you have a longer growing season, go plant more cucumbers because seriously, there are so many amazing ways to eat cucumbers that I will be sharing more and more recipes in the upcoming weeks. If you have any questions, please send an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. In the description section of this video, you will find links to all of the information that I shared with you, comprehensive planting guide, heirloom seeds, cucumber seeds from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and then of course our social media links so you can follow us there. And if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I am Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, signing off, and happy planting.